Thanks to Nato Thompson for having me, and Anna. My name is Darren O'Donnell, and I'm the artistic director of an organization called Mammalian Diving Reflex. We're based in Toronto. We're a team of artists, art historians, we're social scientists, urban planners, educators, teenagers, children, and we're based in Toronto, but we're sort of located all over the place: Australia, Germany, the UK, and across Canada. Our best known project is a project called Haircuts by Children, which we did in 2006. We started that in the neighborhood of Parkdale, Toronto, which is where I'm from, and we did it with a collaboration of the kids there. There were about grade 5 and 6, and it toured since 2006. We do it in performing arts festivals. She can touch during the training, but she cannot touch them, or he cannot touch them. That happened during the project. The first one was the fact that the kids actually took the job really, really serious. They became professionals, and very good professionals, and they concentrated really hard. The second surprise was that there was an incredible and bizarre intimacy that occurred between a child and an adult who didn't know each other, which is something, as you probably know, in this culture of stranger danger that doesn't happen very often. So that was really interesting, and we liked seeing these little conversations that occurred. The next thing that happened that was a surprise was that we noticed that you have only two ways to respond to children generally. You can become an authoritarian and stop them and control their bodies, or you can become an anarchist. That's all the options they give you. And we think that those are interesting options to have. And the other thing that was a surprise, that after 18 years of, or 16 years at that time, of doing work for adults, mostly theater work for adults, that we loved working with children, and we're actually quite good at it. So the next project we did was called Parkdale Public School versus Queen West. Now, Queen West is a street that goes through Parkdale that is an area that's being gentrified by people and by artists. It's a sort of same kind of story. And so we did a mega project that brought together the children and the artists in a bunch of different kind of projects. We did, this one was called Show and Tell, where we shot a film featuring all 567 children in the school showing their objects. We did a bunch of different things. We also did, this is Meets the Kids. There was a senior strings class working with a few local bands, and we did the Children's Choice Awards, which was the children going to, as a jury, going to view a bunch of artwork, and that project tours. We've toured it to international performing festivals, and the kids go around and they judge the work. They see shows like Richard Maxwell. They're very confused by that sort of stuff. And as much as we're exposing kids to work, we're also, and sort of expanding their minds, we're also doing something that we call stealth pedagogy, which is very much what Jean van Heijsek mentioned around who learns, where does the learning happen. And obviously there's some learning on the kids' side. There's also learning on our side. We're very much aware of that. But then there's also learning on the side of the parents and the guardians and the festivals that we're doing this intervention into, and the artists on the stage and the audience that share the seats with the kids. Everybody has to sort of step up with generosity, because there's kids there, and kids are basically doing what they want to do, unless people become authoritarians, and we make sure that that doesn't happen very much. So this project also turned sort of into another one called Eat the Street, where we took a jury of kids around to restaurants, and that's also touring now, and we work with local kids wherever we go, and we just see a bunch of restaurants, and then they give out awards. But again, it's about the adults with stealth pedagogy, and what we're doing is sort of getting in there and sort of changing the adult's mind. And we had two surprises with this one, which is when kids are present, adults are more generous, not only to the kids, but they're actually generous to each other. A server who's not maybe very skilled is going to get a pass if there's a bunch of kids in the house. And the other surprise was that we can work with kids in high-end art contexts and art festivals, and we could work with them as collaborators. And we took a look at, this is from the, I did a study of the culture plans from the major Canadian cities, and you'll notice that why kids and artists are supposed to work together. We took a look at that, and what seemed to be happening was that there was attendance, mid to late 20s, so 15 years, they're getting the company, and the way we're going to sort of sort that out is we're introducing them to everybody in Toronto. Anytime I get a gig to speak or perform or whatever, I bring the kids, and you got to deal with the kids. The money that I get goes to the kids, minus 10% for transit. So over the course of the last year, they've made about, between them, they've sort of amassed resources in around $5,000 or $6,000 that have been spread amongst them. And we trigger artistic encounters with them. This is a thing called High School Health. It was a talk show we did where they interviewed local cultural luminaries about their sex life. It was a choice that they were interested in, and that's Ulysses. That's Ulysses talking about the first time. Ulysses Castellano. First time. We did another project called Night Walks with Teenagers, where we brought a bunch of them out to Cape Breton, and there was local Cape Breton teenagers, which is on the East Coast, and they all did walks together at night. And we're also doing a project called the Producers of Parkdale, where they do a year-long residency at a boutique hotel and learn the various intricacies of producing events, and they eventually do their own festival at the end. And we're working with a team of people. There's educators, like I said, lots of people on it. And what we're trying to do is create a situation where we're looking at friendship. We're sharing a lot of resources. We're making friendship, and we're looking at friendship as a political principle. And friendship is good because it's not prone to romantic idealization like other concepts like community or empowerment. It's very simple, and it yields those through the sort of back door. There are some risks, of course. There's us hanging out. There's some risks. Kids will get into whatever you got. They'll find anything and they'll take it out and they'll play with it. And we just have to sort of watch that and have a good time. But the fact is that working with kids and dealing with people's paranoia around kids brings equity up in a different way and allows sort of us to share.